Coming up on Network Africa. Citizens in Uganda vote in general elections amid delays and internet blackout as President Yoweri Museveni seeks a 7th term in office. Nigeria celebrates its Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. Plus, farmers across South Africa bear the brunt of foot and mouth disease as the Ministry of Agriculture seeks a declaration of a state of disaster. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olaride. It's election day in Uganda, where citizens have been voting across the nation in presidential and parliamentary elections. Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has cast his ballot as the country votes in this 10th poll that could extend his rule into a 5th decade. The 81-year-old leader in power for 40 years is widely expected to secure a 7th term backed by firm control of state institutions and the security forces. Voting this Thursday was marred by delays across parts of the capital Kampala and nearby Jinja, with reports of malfunctioning biometric machines and missing ballot boxes, leaving some polling stations unopened hours after the official start. Well, opposition leaders are accusing authorities of deliberately slowing down the process, and this is a claim the government has denied, saying technical issues forced a switch to manual verification in the affected areas. Well, amid the internet shutdown, business activity across Uganda's capital, Kampala, has been significantly disrupted ahead of today's elections. The suspension of internet access has cut off thousands of residents from their livelihoods, affecting online businesses, delivery services, and transport operators who rely on digital platforms to earn a living. For many, the blackout has brought work to a standstill, deepening frustration and economic uncertainty, even as voters are head to the polls.
A little bit over 1,000 young people that directly earn their living from working with us. Each of these people earn at least 50,000, a minimum of 50,000 shillings, directly from working with us as border riders. Now, 10,000 times around 50,000 already today they have not been able to earn, and then multiplied by the number of days is massive. So yesterday they lost their income, today they lost their income. It is very sad. And most of them are calling, and they are really, really not happy because they feel they are being deprived an opportunity to earn something to allow themselves or support their family.
Removing internet, it gets me to be offline. Now I don't have any clients to talk to. Clients can't see my products, can't see my gadgets, because basically we sell mostly online. We don't sell, it's not a walk-in basis, but we do online, so we post our things and clients get to come to our shop. They call us. So right now, no one is calling me. They can't see my products. Basically, everyone is off, so there's no business.
Well, Kanari Mugume is a Ugandan journalist in Kampala. He sent us this report on election day conditions and more to expect post-election.
The situation on the ground is, as I speak right now, polling ended, but after it was extended by just 1 hour. There was disruptions during the start of the polling, as there was introduction of biometric voter verification kits, but these did not work for about 4 or 5 hours nationwide, and therefore this disrupted polling, and therefore it led to polling to begin late. And because of this, the Electoral Commission did announce polling to proceed for an extra 1 hour. It was supposed to end at 4 p.m. local time. It ended at 5 p.m. I would say generally on ground, there's been really not heavy security presence as opposed to the previous elections, but also there's been no mentions or incidents of chaos or violence so far recorded. The nationwide internet shutdown did affect the election day. I don't know to what extent, but we're yet to get a report from the Uganda Communications Commission that did direct the shutdown of the internet, but there was a breakdown on communication. We do also suspect that the biometric voter verification machines did break down and were unable to identify voters because of the internet shutdown. Media reporting was also affected by the internet shutdown, as media heavily relies on the internet to broadcast images and just tell what exactly is on ground, even though a few media houses were able to broadcast, but it was not as it should be if the internet was on, and also observers were unable to share information. Indeed, the information that was shared was via phone calls and all that. So indeed, the nationwide internet shutdown was it did affect the election day. Results of the polls are expected within 48 hours according to the legal framework in the country. And we do not know, now that the polling began late, we do not know whether the 48-hour rule will still apply, because there was a lot of disruptions and people actually, low voter turnout was experienced in many areas of the country because people had lined up and they were frustrated and they went back home. But maybe that could also be an advantage in terms of hitting the target of 48 hours. So we do expect now ballot counting that is going on right now. That result will be sent to the district level and then to the national tally center, where we do expect the official, at least provisional results to be announced every after 3-4 hours, and official results announced within 48 hours. Well, there was word that because of the internet, there was incitement of violence and the internet was shut down. We do not know now when the internet will be switched on, even after the announcement of the official results. That's another conversation that, of course, we're looking at beyond just today. That's a main pressure point. Businesses are struggling. Those that depended on the internet, which are very many, especially in the urban areas, they are struggling. Communication between families, there's also struggle in that. But as the country moves on into results and post-election phase, I think what is going to be important is who are the leaders that have been elected. Have Ugandans learned any lessons from the past? Have they chosen the leaders they wish should represent them? Or this has been like any other election? It will be interesting to see who goes to parliament and who doesn't, who becomes president and who doesn't. But the main race is, of course, between incumbent President Yoweri Museveni and Bobi Wine.
Well, back here in Nigeria, the Lagos State government has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to the welfare, professionalism and operational effectiveness of the armed forces, describing their sacrifice as the bedrock of Nigeria's peace, unity and democracy. This was at the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade at Tafawa Balewa Square, Onikan.
January 15th, a date set aside to celebrate fallen heroes who sacrificed their lives in defense of Nigeria's security and unity. This year, the ceremony has been rejigged, now called the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade, where officers of the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force and veterans in the Nigerian Legion marched in a memorial procession to honor fallen ex-servicemen at the Remembrance Arcade, Tafawa Balewa Square in Onikan, Lagos. The Lagos State Deputy Governor arrives at the venue for the 2026 annual ceremony and inspects the Guard of Honor. He then proceeds to lay the wreath, followed by the Secretary to the State Government, Chief Judge of Lagos, the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, Air Force and the police and the Nigerian Legion, as well as one of the widows of the fallen heroes. a 21-gun salute to honor the departed service personnel. Deputy Governor Hamzat says the sacrifice made by fallen heroes will never be forgotten because it marks the symbol of the nation's unity.
The nation is behind them, and that we are praying for them, and that we will do everything that it takes to always support them. But they are fighting, they are risking their life to protect all of us, so we must do everything that it takes, and that's the message of the governor to them privately and publicly.
The Nigerian Legion expressed gratitude to the government for the constant support and explained that plans are underway to reach out to the family of the fallen heroes.
The 75 million of last year has not been shared, and this year, like last year, what we did, after sharing the palliative to the doorsteps of those widows, we have a kind of synergy with the service commander, especially Night Brigade, where we asked them to give us to provide us with the list of the widows still living in the barrack, naval base. Then the Air Force did not provide us with the list, but those that we now have their names with us, we already have their address. We took the palliatives down there.
The yearly activity constantly reflects that those who fought the Civil War and the military officers still on the battlefield are well appreciated and will not be forgotten in Nigeria's history.
We head to South Africa now, where the Minister of Agriculture, John Steenhuisen, is calling for the declaration of foot and mouth disease outbreak as a state of disaster. This is as farmers across the country continue to bear the brunt as the disease spreads. So far, the government has vaccinated about 2 million animals. The minister was briefing the media in Pretoria about the current status of foot and mouth in the country. The department plans to spend at least 1.8 billion rands to fund the vaccination drive. Our South Africa correspondent Innocent Samosa has more.
2 million animals have been vaccinated over the last year as the outbreak ravaged livestock farming in 5 provinces. This week, Minister John Steenhuisen announced the first phase of a strategy that aims to reduce outbreaks by 70% in hotspot provinces within the next 12 months.
We see your struggles. We understand and acknowledge the financial as well as emotional toll that outbreaks like foot and mouth disease have on you, on your families, and also your livelihoods. We remain deeply sympathetic to the hardships that you have endured.
South Africa lost its FMD-free status in 2019 after failing to keep up with local vaccine production. Steenhuisen said that he can't undo the past and the decisions that led to production virtually grinding to a halt.
I want to be honest and upfront with the nation. Achieving FMD-free status is a monumental task that is not going to happen overnight. It is a process, it is not an event. Our strategy that will be dealt with today by Dr. Mabujani will be a strategy phased over 10 years.
Meanwhile, analysts have welcomed the move.
The Department of Agriculture's decision to vaccinate all cattle in South Africa for foot and mouth disease is a welcome decision because foot and mouth disease has actually been a major challenge for South Africa. And it seemed that whenever we pass one area, it spread to the next. And remember, as a country that wants to ensure that we build our red meat exports, so biosecurity and controlling diseases remains a priority. So with the step of saying we will vaccinate across the country.
But he cautions that this will not be an easy task.
It will, of course, be a major undertaking because as a country, we have a cattle herd of over 7 million. The logistics of doing this, and secondly, the logistics of getting the vaccines is going to be another challenge. And the department did indicate that they are reviving the Agricultural Research Council's capability to be able to produce the foot and mouth disease vaccine in South Africa. But at the start, we will have to be importing some of this.
Now he's looking to Argentina and Turkey, from which to import millions of doses of vaccines, with the aim of reaching 80% of cattle populations within a year. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Samos, Channels Television News.
Take a break now on the program. Still to come. United States Embassy in Abuja, Nigeria officially reopens its newly redesigned American Center, positioning it as a hub for education. Please join us again. Welcome back to the program. We continue in Kenya, where the police have dispersed the protests just outside the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, where members of the Pan-African Socialist Alliance were denouncing the military operation that led to the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Protesters held placards reading "Bring them back" and chanted solidarity slogans, including "Viva Palestine," "Viva Venezuela," and this was before security forces moved in to break up the gathering. The protesters accused the U.S. of imperialism and pursuing economic interests, particularly over Venezuela's oil resources. They also criticized the U.S. for targeting countries without nuclear power, citing examples like North Korea, China, and Russia.
We have a right to demonstrate in support of a free and sovereign Venezuela. We have a right to mourn in front of the United States Embassy for the 32 Cubans who died to support and defend Nicolas Maduro, and the 70 Venezuelans who fell victim to the forces of American imperialism.
You bomb somebody's country because you say that they are not right. Why, if you know that you're doing a good thing, why is it that you always go to these countries that don't have nuclear powers? Why can't you go to North Korea? Why can't you go to China? Why can't you fight with your league Russia?
Coward!
What belongs to Venezuela? Let the people of Venezuela decide. And you have no right to go to a free country and arrest the president. You are not the police or you are not their military. If the people of Venezuela feel like they don't want their president, they have their own ballots, they have their own laws, and you are not above the international law.
So to the Kenyan people, to the Kenyan revolutionaries, it is time to advance your ideology, it's time to organize and educate yourself further to know that imperialism is at our doorstep. Just because it happened in Caracas does not mean it is not existence in Nairobi. What happened in Caracas happened by bombs and all the weaponry they used.
We know exactly what they want. They don't want Maduro, they don't want something like peace. They are not fighting drugs. We know exactly what they want. And what they want is a oil that is in a sovereign country called Venezuela. So we are here and we condemn. We are saying that we will not stop. We will continue demonstrating.
Don't know how fast the conversation moved from the narco trafficking to oil. We know President Trump wants Venezuelan oil. And Venezuela is a sovereign country. They are free to rule themselves. So we condemn Trump's action against the sovereign Republic of Venezuela.
We will continue to come to the United States Embassy to remind the empire, let the United States decide how they want to fall, but its strategic decline is ongoing.
Bring them back! Bring them back! Bring them back! Bring them back! Bring them back!
South Africa has officially been removed from the European Union high-risk list. This is following the removal by Financial Action Task Force, FATF, late last year. The country was added to the list in 2023 due to the grey listing by the FATF. Countries like Mozambique and Tanzania are among 5 countries that are also off the list. Well, cybersecurity analyst Lucien Pierre says this move is expected to boost trade and investment with the EU.
I think that there will be benefits for South Africa that arise from this. By way of background, South Africa was added to the EU's high-risk list when it was placed on the Financial Action Task Force list, or FATF as it's known. This is a list that identifies countries that have weak laws on anti-money laundering and combating of financing of terrorism. Being on that list means that because of these weak laws, criminals, including cyber criminals of course, could take advantage of weak systems to transfer the proceeds of cybercrime to other countries where they can more easily launder their ill-gotten gains. So, it also means that countries that are on this list had to be viewed with more skepticism by countries that were dealing with them, which slowed down transactions, slowed down deals with other countries, and generally just made things a little more difficult. Of course, now that we are off the list, it may become more difficult for cyber criminals to conduct cybercrime, not in terms of the actual attacks, but rather in the way that they go about transferring their funds. Because we have a higher level of scrutiny and higher and better systems in place, it's going to be more difficult for them to move their money around and to launder it. So there certainly are benefits that come with being removed from the list.
The United States Embassy in Abuja has officially reopened its newly redesigned American Center, positioning it as a hub for education, cultural exchange and professional development for Nigerians of all ages. The revamped facility features modern spaces, enhanced technology and creative installations aimed at supporting English language learning, educational advising, digital literacy, entrepreneurship and cultural programming. U.S. officials say the center reflects American excellence while strengthening the long-standing partnership between the U.S. and Nigeria. As part of a wider network of 29 American spaces across Nigeria, the reopening also underscores a renewed focus on people-to-people connections, skills development, and shared values. And as we end the program today, here's our fun fact about the continent, and it's here in Nigeria. Did you know that ancient earthworks in Nigeria are longer than the Great Wall of China? The ancient earthworks of the Benin walls in Nigeria are often cited as being significantly longer than the Great Wall of China, while some estimates claim they are 4 times longer, representing the world's largest earthworks before the mechanical era built by the Edo people for defense and as city boundaries. And that's it on the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.